Well, listen, 30 minutes is what I want to try to keep it to because we figured that's as long as somebody could possibly sit and listen. You were good for 30 seconds, and it is what it is. You got to do it. We're all busy, but tell us, who you are, what you do, why you do it. Caleb, you and I have known each other for a while now, and super impressed with what you guys do over there, the stories that you tell, your process, and it'll be impossible during our time to actually get all of that out. But I'm going to challenge you to do the best you can. So give
Got
us
it.
a little intro.
Yeah. So I'm Caleb Marsh. I'm founder and CEO of Red Legend, and this is what we do. We tell stories for businesses and organizations. And our whole philosophy stemmed from the fact that my industry, I mean, it's a video production company, and we are really good at telling stories, and we're really bad at finding the right story to tell every single time. But the cool thing is, if you tell a good story, it kind of works. Like
Agreed.
But if you tell the right story and you tell it well,
Oh,
it works even better.
every time.
So
There you go.
we took a sort of engineering approach to what are the types of stories you can tell, how are they structured, what's all the data behind that, and then pass that to a team of really, really talented artists and say, tell this story, you figure out how.
Okay.
You
Wow. Okay. And you've been doing this for how long?
started the business about 10 years ago.
Okay. And how long did it feel like it took for you to figure all that out? What you just told us in a minute. How kind of walk us through that journey a little bit.
Yeah, it took about 10 years.
Okay.
So yeah, we started out as just a video production company, built a whole marketing agency under our roof, realized we're really good at the video side and we were kind of just okay at everything else.
Okay.
So cut everything else a few years ago, took a deep dive into the way that our industry does uh, what we do. Like we've got incredibly talented filmmakers, videographers, everyone in between that are working for businesses and they
Okay.
drive results and it's still such an unresearched, underdeveloped philosophy that goes
Really?
into how we storytell for businesses. There are, I mean, you got books like this, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. If
Okay.
you haven't read this, read it. Uh,
Hmm.
if you are in business, if you are in sales, if you are in leadership, if you ever talk to anyone, read that book.
Wow. Okay.
But I mean, all the frameworks out there are, it's just like, here's how to tell a story, but it doesn't tell you here's the right story to tell every single time.
Ooh. Okay. So I think most of us have heard of, story selling.
Mhm.
You're better off selling with a story. Give an example. Let somebody kind of picture the person in the scenario and the situation and the problem and how you help them solve it. And I think that's great advice. I've been doing that forever in my business about clients who didn't think they could buy a house, and then what we did to get them qualified, and how a couple of months later they were able to negotiate, not maybe the house of their dreams, but it's a stepping stone to that. And now they're thrilled and all of that. What kind of companies do you usually help tell their story? Are you industry agnostic? Are you more industry specific? Where do you seem to have the most success?
Yeah, we help pretty much every industry except food and beverage.
Okay,
It's been hard for us to crack that market just with the way we work.
interesting.
But I've got great referrals that work in that space and they're better at it, so they get the business.
There you go.
Uh, So industry doesn't matter that much. We do a lot in professional services, finance, and then construction manufacturing. Those are the
Okay,
top three. Medical's right behind those. Really, when it comes down to it, we are looking for businesses who want to tell their story and don't really know what that means,
okay.
which is probably most businesses. Um,
At what point do they realize that, or they just not know what they don't know?
our here's a litmus test. If you ask someone to define the word story, and there's
Okay,
not an immediate answer of I know what a story is and here's the definition,
okay,
that's when a business we say is ready to dive into their story.
okay. So, so tell me this then. And I just got out of a great lunch with um, a representative from a company that does sales training.
Yeah.
And she was describing their process and how often small businesses, small teams, they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have trouble finding out what the consumer's need is
Hmm.
so that they can go to the next level, whether it's getting there emotionally or getting there from a pure statistical perspective. This is how many more people we need to talk to with the same story, or we need to modify the story
Yeah.
and get that emotional tug on it. And it was really, and I love sales as a, I guess, as a skill,
Yeah.
like so many things, whether throwing a football, shooting a basketball, hitting a golf ball. Those are all things that if you work on and you get good coaching on, you can get really good at. But
Mm.
telling your story, some people, it's an hour and a half and you're like, "Ah, you lost me in the first 10 minutes." Other people are engaging and they're just, you can see whatever their story is. How do you guys get to that with a company, especially something that's, full of people, but isn't, you know, a
Yeah.
person?
It's a good question. So there's a few tools we have that are different than what's out there in the industry that I think are amazing for businesses, whether they work with us or on their own. The first one is defining the action. Every story, so I mentioned no one knows what a story is. A
Right?
story follows a character through a journey to a transformation.
Okay. A
And
character through a journey to a transformation.
yep, the
Okay.
is that you and I are characters. We're human beings. We're characters on a journey.
All right.
And we have yet to experience our final transformation, waiting for death and glorification. Lord, take me home. Until then, we are in the process of that journey. So we kind of naturally relate to characters on journeys. That's
Okay.
how we relate to stories as humans
Hmm.
ordinarily. But when it's a business transaction that you're trying to drive, the only
Right.
reason I'm going to give you a dollar is if you give me a transformation back.
Okay. A
So,
transformation. Got it. Okay.
so we're wired to think character journey, but we need to be thinking transformation.
Got it. Okay.
So if you start there and you start looking for transformations in the world, I'm a business person, I want to tell stories. Start looking for where the transformations are. Where are transformations in yourself, your company, your team, the customer, your partners, your vendors? Look for the
Interesting.
transformations. What's changing in their life? What do you want to change about the world? That's what you tell the story about.
Got it.
And the next tool that is incredibly helpful, and this is where I'll stop with the philosophy.
No, no, it's all good.
Every story is going to fall into one of three buckets. You've got stories about your company and the people inside your company.
Hmm.
Oh, every employee is a character that has their journey and their own transformations.
Right.
Founder, the company itself. You've got the company stories. You've got stories about the product or the service,
Okay.
right? You follow a can from raw aluminum to can filled with a drink. That's a character that went on a journey and experienced a transformation. You follow a loan process from disorganized chaos to they got a house.
Right.
That's transformation. So you got stories about the company, about the product or the service, and you got stories about the customer. Where did they start? What were they thinking and feeling and doing? What were their
Right.
circumstances? Then they went through this journey, and then what were they thinking, feeling, and doing? What were their circumstances at the end?
Right. Huh. So when one of your business development people sits down with somebody, tell me the typical way that you guys find your clients or clients find you.
Mhm.
How are you? I would think nobody should be better at telling their story, right, than you guys. So tell us your story.
Yeah. So I set out to make a place where artists and creatives can thrive.
Okay.
I was an extra on a film set when I was 11. I fell in love. Just amazing process behind the scenes. Didn't care about being in front of the camera. And then my best friend lived down the street up in northern Arizona. We bought cameras. We said, "Hey, we're gonna go to Hollywood and be we're gonna make movies." Uh, we spent some time in New York and LA. I'm a kid from small town Arizona, not my speed.
Got it.
So we decided to apply the skills that we learned on how to tell really good stories
Okay.
to businesses. But what I learned really quickly is I don't actually care that much about the art of cinematography, the art of sound design. It's awesome. Like it's
Okay.
a lot of fun, but that's not my strong suit. There are people that are way better than I am.
Okay.
But I really love finding artists and then channeling their skills into solving business problems.
Ah,
That's my favorite thing in the world,
okay.
aside from my
So
wife.
And newly married, congratulations again
Thank
on
you.
that. Um, so your passion is helping artists go, that's they are the character, right? There's the journey and then the transformation at the end. The for a company to
Mhm.
find you. So where are we going to see you marketing, advertising, putting your story out so that someone's like, hey, who is this company Red Legend? And what the hell is Red Legend?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up. We have a whole way that we go about that, but the basics is this: we put our stuff out online on our website. That stays
Okay.
there for a long time. It's got a good shelf life of a few years. Social media has a good shelf life of a few seconds. Uh,
Right?
and then anywhere else that you can put your story out online. Sometimes it's
Okay.
on video, sometimes it's a podcast, sometimes it's written, but we go online first so that anyone can find us. Social media and the website are the two main channels there.
Okay.
And then we don't get business just from being online. Nobody does. So we have paid ads that go out.
Got it.
That's instead of the organic reach on social media, we're paying to
All right.
get eyeballs on our
More
content.
eyeballs. Sure.
And then we also have, and this is where we get most of our business, it's how you and I met. Local networking groups,
Right.
getting to know other people in the community. We can make amazing videos all day, but if there's no relationship built, what's the
Right.
point?
Exactly.
And for all of our clients, even the ones that are, big time B2C, they may never have a physical interaction. They may never meet in person. Our job as storytellers is to help build a relationship.
Okay.
We can't do it all on our own. We need the company to actually care about their customers.
Sure.
And so that's how we approach it too.
So tell me a story about a company that just didn't get it or didn't have couldn't like stand behind the story. I almost picture a company who made up a story. Like this is what we would like to be, but the reality is we really don't care about any of that. We're just bottom line, make the money, churn and burn.
Yeah.
Um,
That it's interesting you brought that up because we talk a lot internally about how we can only tell true stories.
okay.
Like if you tell a good story and it's fake, the audience will see through it. Early on, before we got a little smarter, I took on a client. It was our biggest project to date, and we made some TV ads, and they were flipping amazing. They were so good. Uh,
Really?
it was a big project for us. We rented expensive cameras, and client paid us for the ads. They started running the ads, and 60 days later, they were out of business.
Oh,
And I
okay.
said, "Whoa, what happened?" Because he reached out because he owed us some money still. And
Uh,
he was like, "Hey, I can't pay you for a couple of years. Sorry." I was like, and it took him about 3 years to pay us.
no
So
kidding.
good dude. Uh, ran I want to be kind, not a good company.
Got it.
It
Okay.
was not a good business, and they weren't serving clients.
Uh,
So at the end of the day, it was an HVAC company, HVAC and electrical.
hmm.
They had an amazing story that they told, and then clients were calling. And we saw, like, we got access to the data. Their call numbers shot through the roof, and they
Wow.
didn't pick up.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Um,
Infrastructure wasn't in place.
Infrastructure wasn't in place, and the
Wow.
desire to serve the customer wasn't in place. This guy was on his way out, older gentleman. His team
Wow.
wasn't really bought in, and at the end of the day, they weren't there to serve customers. They were there to sort of just build a business, and they didn't realize that the people they were serving made the business the business.
Wow. What a shame,
It
right?
was.
I mean, so at that point, you're basically creating fiction. I mean,
It,
there's what they wanted to be, it's what they were selling. Unfortunately, there was nothing behind it, and that's it obviously doesn't reflect on you, other than man, you put a really good piece of work together that does exactly what you wanted to do, and then they can't deliver on it. I mean,
yeah,
uh,
we learned a really good lesson. We now have a 5 point rating system for our clients that makes sure that they
oh,
align with our 5 core values. So
okay,
before we sign a client, we actually, and we don't tell them this, but we have our discovery call. We get to know them a little bit,
yeah,
and then we rate the client, and that tells us if they're aligned with our core values and they care about doing business the way that we think is right or
okay,
not. And we won't turn
love
them
it.
away necessarily, but it tells us where the
Yeah.
problems are going to be.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, do you turn everybody away or do you just figure out, okay, now that we know better
Mhm.
what their core is or the fact that we don't quite align, let's make sure that we hold some. accountability here, or, maybe it's just simple, you know, I mean, you ever turn anybody away?
Uh, about once a year.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it,
Well, and we
I,
gently price them out.
I was just going to ask, okay, is it before the work's begun where you realize we're just not going to be a good fit, but I don't want it to go negative because he got referred by
Mhm.
somebody I trust and I want them to understand. So we're going to just, price ourselves out so that it doesn't work. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
And
Uh,
then once in a while, someone slips through the cracks, and we were like, wow, we don't need to work with them again. If they call us back, because we're not calling them back,
Right.
that's when we price them out.
There you go. And it's nice to be in a position like that. I love that you've got whatever your core values are. They're written down. We're gonna grade, a potential client against this. We're not
Mhm.
so desperate for business that we know it's going to be ugly, but we're going to do it anyway because we got bills to pay. It's you're committed to that process. That's awesome, and that will no doubt serve you very well long term.
Thanks. It's tough. I mean,
Absolutely.
there are probably people you've turned away that you're like, I would, I could use the money, but that's not worth it.
In my business, it's not the client that I turn away, it's the referral partner. And for
Oh,
most of my business, well, let's just say 60% of my business is referred by realtors.
okay.
And there are realtors that I have learned are just not a good fit. Their expectations
Yeah.
for what we do are way too high. The professionalism with which we're dealt with is way too low. So to
Hmm.
understand, as opposed to I'm picturing somebody right now that I had to explain to him that we're not a good fit. In the middle of escrow,
Oh.
he, I get a call from the client. So we're going to close in a couple of weeks. Client loves us. We followed our process. We stayed true to that. We locked in the interest rate, and the realtor reached out to the borrower and said, "Hey, rates have dropped a little bit. I've got another friend in the business was telling me that another mortgage guy was telling me that rates have gone down. You might want to give him a call."
Hmm.
And it's like, well, wow. I mean, you're under contract already. Rates hadn't gone down. The other loan officer just told you that to try to
Oh,
get you to
man.
get your guy to call him. I mean, it was kind of unscrupulous. I mean, it's like,
Hmm.
just not cool. But I get a call from the borrower. Barbara's like, "Hey, I heard rates have gone down," and I'm like, "No, I'll pull my charts up. I'll show you exactly where they are. We're right where we locked, just less than a week ago. Why are you asking?" He says, "Well," and I won't say the name.
Hmm.
Particular realtor called and he said that rates have gone down and suggested I talk to another lender about what their rates were. And I'm like, "Wow, okay, well, I'm just telling you right now, you're in a great position. We're ready to roll. Rates haven't gone down any lower, but let me check in with the realtor." So I called the realtor. He's like, "Well, I was at a networking event and this one loan officer came up to me and, of course, he's sweet talking me, trying to get me to send some business his way." And I told him I had one client I've already referred over. And he said the rates are much lower than what you gave him. I'm like, "Dude, really?" He says, "Well, I got to do right by my client." I said, "You realize how confused your client is right now in the middle of this transaction?" I said,
Hmm.
"I talked to the borrower because he called. Here's what I told him, and he's thrilled. So I'm not thrilled. And quite frankly, I don't think we're a good fit if this is how you do business."
Hmm.
So he's like, "Well, I'm always looking out for my client." I'm like, "We're all looking out for our clients. Why would you inject a brand new loan officer trying to sell you into the middle of a deal?" And he got very defensive, and I said, "Listen, you know what it is. We're going to get this deal closed. Your client's going to be thrilled,
Hmm.
but I'm just not interested in working with you any further." Click, he hung up, and literally happens.
It's
I
tough.
see him more often than is comfortable.
Oh, that's
It's you're
awkward.
like, it is, but you're like, "Hey, you got to make a decision." I'm looking for business partners.
Hmm.
Whether it's realtors, financial advisors, CPAs, and attorneys that appreciate what I do, respect the relationship, the same
Yeah.
way that if a deal fell out because of a home inspection and appraisal, I'm not going to take that buyer and say, "Hey, there's a couple of other realtors that might do a better job. Let me refer." I mean, that would be suicide business wise. So it's a crazy industry. My side, especially, a lot of
Yeah.
lack of loyalty
Oh
in there.
man.
You do the best you can. You try to take care of them, but it's It's a little crazy. I respect what you guys do, especially on the B2B side, because you're dealing with businesses that are trying to grow. They're putting their confidence in you. They can literally see your product on your website. Your videos are fantastic. The commercials and
Thank
stuff you guys have done,
thank
it's
you.
like it's right here. Yeah, I can tell a story about a client that we helped to get a home loan and show a picture of them standing in front of their house, but it's just not the same as watching,
Yeah,
somebody looking at that thinking, man, I wonder what he could do for us.
yeah.
Like, I wonder, what kind of questions he's going to ask or what we need to share to get that quality of a video that'll help promote our business.
Mhm.
So I just, I'm jealous that you get to have that, not tactile, but certainly visual experience to be able to share with clients.
It is a cool job. Like I'm very grateful. I could have gone any number of directions with my career, and that I get to work in something that is so technical and strategy driven, and also so undefined and whatever we
Okay.
want to make it. It's a incredibly difficult to manage the people in that scenario because you've got artists and technicians and they have to
Uh-huh.
work together and sometimes be the same person. So
Right.
that's a whole discussion on management for a different time and leadership there. But yeah, nothing's ever the same. Everything's always moving fast. It's an awesome job to have.
Good for you. And being an entrepreneur as well. I mean, you could be
Love it.
an operations manager for a company that does this and have none of the stress of running the business, but just all of the challenge and the stress of dealing with artists and dealing with the technical side and all, and then client business development, but actually running the business yourself. And
Mhm.
as I know, being an entrepreneur, man, it's the month to month grind, it's payroll, it's all those things that come with the
Yep.
behind the scenes, what you're doing at 8 o'clock at night that has nothing to do with getting a loan done, or getting a video done. And you're just thinking, okay, can I
Mhm.
take a step back
Mhm.
and think about working on the business instead of in it? Do
Yeah.
you do you make time for that? Do you get away? Do you have a quiet space in the house? I have a spot outside by the fire pit is my cigar and tequila spot. That's like my decompression area where I take Friday afternoons and just kind of just think through, where are we? How was the week? What were our successes? Were there any failures? What the kind of things do we need to, as if I'm talking to somebody else, and
Yeah.
it's me, trying to figure out, is our processing working? Is our marketing working? How do you do that?
It's a good question. I'm trying to keep a cadence going of hike or run a few times a week, and that's just
Okay,
good for this week's and last week's problems get processed
there you
on a
go.
run or on a mountain. And then every few months, 2 to 3, I'm out in the woods, completely out of cell service for a couple
Okay.
days.
Oof.
When with baby coming, we'll see how that works out. But
All right. Congratulations on that.
thanks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Now, do you work with a consultant, a business coach? Tell me kind of where you are or how you feel about that.
Yeah, so business coaches are really interesting. I love the first 6 months of every coaching engagement I've done, and I've done
Okay.
6 to 12 months engagements several times, and it's awesome. Uh, and we are incredibly fast moving, and so sometimes those relationships stick around. Sometimes we kind
Okay.
of peak with our like current value that we get out of it, and then something happens in the business and I'm like, I got to turn off spend, or
Right.
we're running out of money,
Sure.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I'm working with a mentor of mine for the last 4 or 5 years. He's
Oh,
been along for the whole ride, and he's been sort of my cheerleader and coach and quarterback
oh,
on
that's
some things.
awesome.
Yeah,
Good for you to have somebody like that,
yeah.
who knows either the business or enough about you and
Mhm.
what you told them about the business to give you some straight advice, right? Or sometimes just to
Yeah.
smack you around like, Caleb, what are you thinking, dude?
Oh, he doesn't hold back, and he ran a company like what we do for 25 years out in
Oh,
Michigan.
wow. Okay.
Like seasoned veteran. He's
How
really good at what he
nice
does.
to have somebody like that. Is this somebody you've worked for in the past?
No, it's just someone I met. Again, he was down in Phoenix looking for some business. We met at an in-person event. He heard something I said, and he was like, "That guy probably does what I do."
Ah,
And it
interesting.
turned into an amazing relationship because he's a generous, generous person.
That's awesome. Good for you. It's funny how, well, you put it out there, you're genuine with people, and it tends to attract the right kind of people as well.
Hmm.
And good for you. All right. Tell me about your sales team.
So sales team, we've got one gal full time. She's fantastic. You know, Emma.
Sure.
Uh, and her job is to go out and represent us to the community.
Okay.
She's not a cold caller. She's not a hard seller. She sells a lot the same way I do. Is I like meeting people, building a relationship, and so does she.
There
And
you
the
go.
sales come. If it's 6 weeks later, if it's 3, 4, 5 years later, not
Okay.
really our problem.
Got
That
it.
it will happen.
Okay.
And I've got two contract part-time guys who are
Oh,
hitting the phones, hitting the streets. They're
okay.
hustlers.
Got
Uh,
it.
so we've kind of got our bases covered there.
Okay. Good for you. And you're only in Phoenix, correct?
So we serve worldwide. We're based in Phoenix. We've got a call it a satellite office. My project manager lives in Utah.
Okay.
And then we're looking to open a booth, like a brick and mortar in Utah in 2028, and
Oh,
then
wow.
move beyond about one state a year for the
Wow,
years
that's
after that.
super aggressive. One state a year.
Yep.
Okay. And where in Utah, out of
Salt
curiosity?
Lake.
In Salt Lake? Okay. Sure. You feel like there's a market, a strong enough market, lack of competition, just nobody's doing it the way you do it.
No one does it the way we do it.
Okay.
And I
Fair
say that
enough.
confidently because we've built the IP that no one's even dared to with the science of storytelling.
Okay.
So yeah, there is huge opportunity. We do a lot of work across the Southwest as it is.
Okay.
So Utah's next, Nashville. I love Nashville. Uh,
Yeah.
Culturally, like when it comes to what we do in the business community, there's a lot of similarities with Phoenix.
Oh,
People
really?
move fast. There's a lot of transplants, but there's also some old
Right.
blood and an old blood
Okay.
mentality. Uh, and so I'm a huge fan of Nashville. Kansas City's a possibility. I don't want to go further east than those two. And
Okay.
then Sacramento, surprisingly, is decently high on the list
Okay.
because there's,
Why?
I mean, 2 hours
We're the
from the Bay
capital, obviously.
Area,
Okay.
you got a couple million people in Sacramento. We need about a million, million and a half population to support
Okay.
a good operation for us. So you've got Fresno Clovis with 2 or 3 million people, 2 hours
Hmm.
away. You got Sacramento with 2 million people. You got the Bay Area. You got
Sure.
Reno. It's
Okay.
all right there.
Got it. Wow. Big plans, big dreams.
Big dreams.
I love it. Okay. But all headquarters always be in Phoenix, or you see yourself maybe picking up one day?
Nah, I'm a Phoenix
Yeah.
kid.
All right. Oh, you said small town Arizona. Where'd you grow up?
Payson.
In Payson. Wow.
Yeah.
A Payson escapee. I know a lot of people get older, they move up to Payson.
Hmm.
It seems like it's Payson, one of those small towns where either you got to get out or you're going to be there the rest of your life.
Yep. That
Okay.
you just about summed it up.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much what I've heard.
Mhm.
Great little town if it's what you're
Love it.
looking for, right?
Love it.
And
It was amazing growing up there, and I'd raise kids there if it works out.
really,
Oh yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow. You have to be able to convince the wife to do that, though, huh?
She's open to it.
Really?
She's from a
Okay.
small town outside of Fresno, so
Oh, okay. So it wouldn't be too big a stretch then, and certainly
uh,
easy access to the valley, which is kind of nice about
yeah,
Payson. It is
yeah.
beautiful. It's cooler. It's the pines. It's
Hmm.
one of the many things that's beautiful about Arizona, up in our mountains. We have friends that have a place up in Christopher Creek,
Oh,
and
love it.
so not too far from there. We're going up
Yeah,
next weekend, as a matter of fact, weekend
nice.
after next. Looking forward to some cool evenings by the fireplace and kind of
Yeah,
chilling. It's
yeah.
that's awesome. Well, very good. Well, we are coming pretty much right up on it. This has been, I mean, you and I've met a couple of times, and I always get so much out of our meetings and hearing what you have going on. I get kind of jazzed up by, hearing what you're doing and the girl. I guess I didn't realize you were pregnant, or maybe that went over my head. But congratulations to you guys on that. And
Thanks.
and it's a boy or girl. What do we have on the way?
It's a girl due in 5 weeks from
Holy
yesterday.
cow! Yeah, I'm sorry that I wasn't paying
No,
enough
you're good. I
attention
checked out
during
over
our.
the summer anyway.
Well, yeah, I know we didn't see each other for, I feel like, well, like many in our group,
Yeah,
we tend to escape if we can. But congratulations on all of that. All the best to you. I appreciate you making some time for us, and I know I'll see you soon at one of our accelerator events, if not sooner.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Christopher.
Awesome. Take care, buddy. We'll see you. Bye
See
bye.
ya.